Alright, hello everyone, and today I'm obviously going to be making a video on a video that I've really been teasing for a while. Like, I've done a poll on it, and yeah, we're going to be talking about Duffy's Digital Circus, because I know you're really wondering on that. And there's a pretty good reason why it's been delayed, pretty much. With the current issue I'm having during this year, and not to mention just the fact that the phone I use for spin-offs just shut down, it's way harder for me to communicate with you guys, so it's kind of tricky. But we're gonna be finally making a video on it, because I think I teased it like a month ago. Then another post I said it was releasing earlier this week, and then I didn't release something else. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about it now. So whoop whoop. So for those who don't know, Duffy's Digital Circus is created by a username named Duffy Films. The video is basically just like what if the Digital Circus was analog horror, and I really like it. Like, I generally think Duffy's Digital Circus is a good show, and I think it's actually like a pretty good analog horror for the Amazing Digital Circus. And also another reason why I wanted to make this video is because of another video I've seen, and That video was created by none other than a YouTuber named Papo. For those who don't know, Papo is basically just a guy who just talks about stuff. He is pretty infamous for having his videos about shipwrecked and his videos about Fazbear Toddler Fun. And I really liked those videos. And you should also probably know him for the SML Wiki controversy that he had. It was the whole epilepsy thing. However, he made a video, I think it was 2 months ago. He made a video talking about how Duffy's Digital Circus is the worst analog horror he's seen. And I beg to differ. If I had to say what the worst analog horror is, it would definitely be something like The Painter. Which, sure, The Painter is scary, but the ending of the freaking Painter, this isn't is this an analog horror of the in-betweeners or something? Seriously, I do not know why they made so many sex jokes in the finale. It made no sense, and it just kind of ruined the vibe for me. Especially since the last episode of The Painter was actually good. But, sorry, I got out of hand. So basically, the concept of the analog horror is, I think Kane shuts down, kind of like what he does in episode 8. And Pomni takes over, and I should mention about the fact that all these guys have different names. Pomni is named Jester, Jax is named Jack, Ragatha is named Annie, I think, Kinga is Crowner, Zubo is Noble for some reason, and Gangle is Jangle. And I should probably go to the designs next, and I quite like them. However, there is an issue that even Popo knows, and that's just the fact that, the characters that Duffy likes more has more unique designs. Because, Kinga and Gangle's design in the analog horror almost look the same as they do in the actual show. Hey, Gangle's just an exact replica, except more low quality. I don't know if Duffy's Digital Circus just doesn't like Gangle, but the fact that her design is just unoriginal is just kind of sad. Oh yeah, speaking of that, the animation. The animation is honestly really good. I think the animation is quite good, and it's really good for, an analog horror. And it fits the vibe, with the whole 3D circus thing in the VR headset. It fits really well. And I do kind of like the idea how some, Digital Circus characters have different designs and different names. I think that's quite cool. Do I think that, obviously, some of the designs are just the same? Yeah. I just talked about that 5 seconds ago, you dumbass. And, honestly, I think it does a really good job in the whole horror aspect, and I quite like it. However, I should mention about one scene in a video, and I should really mention that now, because I really wanted to talk about it, and talk about how I just thought that this was just, I know it's an analog horror, but I think this part just went too far. And that is the episode My Dollhouse. Consider about the name and the thumbnail, it's basically a video focused towards Annie, aka Ragatha. And some goofy stuff happens. It's basically kind of like a Squid Game where everyone just dies for some reason. Crazy stuff happens. However, that's not the reason why I'm talking about it. I'm talking about it purely because of the ending of the freaking video. And it is honestly so bad that I don't even want to show it. I'm just going to talk about it. In the ending, Ragafus sees a cat. And obviously, considering the fact that, Annie's personality is pretty similar to Ragafus, she obviously pets the cat. However, there's just one thing that Duffy just decided to do. And honestly, this is one of the few things that I agree with Papo that is absolutely messed up. And it's not even in a good, it's analog horror way. No, I think it generally just took it too far. Basically, Annie realizes that, you know what? I'm petting a cat right now. What if I'm the one that's in control? What if I'm the one that's in control? And what she does to the goddamn cat is just too far. Like, I'm not even going to glaze Duffy about this. I generally think she took it way too far with this goddamn scene. And it honestly just ruins the whole video for me. And it honestly was just unappealing. I don't know who the hell supports animal abuse in any way. But, dear God, I don't know if anyone could even support the character Annie for that. Because, dear God. By the way, that was the last Duffy's Digital Circus video. Well, not the, last one, but the last official one. So that was what we were left off with. Just a scene with a cat. So, yeah. That's it. That was it for the Duffy's Digital Circus video. One animal abuse scene, and that's it. You can't just end it off like that. But I'm not gonna, talk about that, because I think it's just messed up if I do that. So, yeah. Oh, there's also quite a few episodes. I would say my favorite episode was probably the argument one. If you don't know, it's basically where Noble and Django basically just have a talking with each other. And I should mention that because it's quite weird. Because there's a scene in my dollhouse, which I also don't like, where Django gets out of the picture. Which makes no sense, but yeah, in the argument video, basically, Noble and Django are talking to each other in, a bounty castle. And, can I just say, Django's character is so weird. Because, sometimes she's supportive, but, literally, sometimes 10 seconds later, she just takes a complete 180-degree angle and just starts going crazy and just going aggressive. It makes no sense. And, yeah, really, it just doesn't make sense. Django, is supporting Noble because she thinks it's her fault. And then just out of nowhere, she just says, oh yeah, it kind of is your fault. Because, yeah, really just, However, I should mention about the fact that the ending, which is, I know it's will probably sound messed up, is my personal favourite part of the video, and probably in all of the Duffy's Digital Circus ones, because I generally think it's actually quite disturbing, and I love it for that. Noble decides, you know what? I'm gonna hang myself, and ties a noose to choke herself to death. However, obviously, if you haven't seen the Digital Circus, no one can die in the Duffy's Digital Circus. And Jester comes to the room and says exactly that. You cannot die. So the horrifying aspect of hanging yourself and choking, but realizing that you cannot die, is horrifying, and I absolutely love it for that. And I genuinely think it's actually so cool. Overall, I'd personally rate Duffy's Digital Circus a pretty good 7.5 out of 10. Maybe an 8 out of 10 if it didn't have that cat scene, but still. Bye.